The Bathurst area is a very historic region, dating back to the early 1800s. These days it's also well known as a mecca for motor racing enthusiasts. Today we are looking at Bathurst Regional Council as a member of Net Waste, a group of 28 councils in central and western New South Wales. J.R. Richards & Sons have been contracted to provide recycling services to households in the Bathurst region. The main aim of this partnership is to maximise recycling and reduce waste going to landfill. So today we are looking at what happens to the items you put in your yellow lidded bin. And it doesn't matter where you live in the Bathurst region, the opportunity exists for us all to do the right thing and recycle for the future. Every day of the week, council are busy taking away the waste items we all generate. And what happens to these items? Well, if we don't recycle them, they end up being buried in garbage dumps and landfills. Some will never break down, and others, such as plastic bags, can take up to 1,000 years before they decompose. The more waste we throw out, the more land we need to bury it. This is simply not sustainable. And with about half the waste we put in landfills coming from households like yours and mine, we need to look at what we can recycle. Every one of us can make a difference. Not everything we throw out needs to go into our rubbish bin. Certain materials from our homes are able to be recovered by recycling them in our yellow lidded bin. Recycling is one of the easiest ways we can reduce the amount of waste we send to landfill and help the environment at the same time by conserving valuable resources. So now let's take a closer look at what happens to our recycling. There are 5 material types that can be recycled. These are paper, aluminium, steel, glass and plastic. If you get confused, just look at the details on the lid of your bin. Only specific items made from these materials can be recycled, and they are paper and cardboard items such as newspapers, magazines and boxes, all rigid plastic containers from the kitchen, bathroom and laundry, steel cans, sometimes referred to as tin cans and aerosols, aluminium cans and aerosols, and glass jars and bottles only. These may be clear, green or brown. You can prepare your recyclables by giving them a good rinse, and why not use your old dishwater? This is another valuable resource we need to conserve. Don't forget to squash your steel cans with the lids inside, break down cardboard boxes and remove lids and nozzles. To help us understand what happens to our recyclables, we have coloured several items bright pink. Today we will follow their progress through the recycling system. This way you will understand what happens to the recycling you put in your yellow lidded bin. Oh, and please don't forget, no plastic bags in the recycling bin. These go in our rubbish bins. Your recyclables are collected by a specially designed and built truck. When emptying the bins, the driver can see the contents as they fall into the hopper. He views a screen and looks for any items of contamination that might cause a problem in the recycling process. It doesn't matter where you live in the Bathurst area. All the recycling is transported to the Regional Waste Management Facility in Orange. The truck is weighed and the details recorded on the computer. It's then taken to the Materials Recovery Facility, or MRF as we call it. Here we use machines and people to sort the recyclables into their different types. When the trucks arrive, they reverse in and unload onto the floor area. Some of our pink marked products can be seen falling from the truck. A bobcat is used to push the material onto a steel conveyor that slowly carries the recycling into the plant. A steep incline conveyor belt regulates a constant flow, and the items fall onto the initial sort conveyor. Here, 2 staff remove items of contamination and overly large pieces. Again, our marked items can be seen and are still fairly much together. All items then fall onto a series of automated sorting screens, with the purpose of splitting items into 3 categories. The first group is small items such as broken glass, bottle tops and small scraps of paper. These fall down between the discs and onto a conveyor where they are taken outside the plant. A series of machines, including a trommel and a pulverizer, recover the glass and process it to a suitable size for reuse. The larger items skip over the discs until the gaps between them become wider. As this happens, glass, steel aluminium and plastic items fall through and, being heavier, bounce down to a lower conveyor. Paper and cardboard continue on across the discs and up a series of conveyors, where a final manual sort is done to ensure the product is of high quality. Here we can see a part of our newspaper heading past the sorter and then on up to a trommel. This is a round drum with mesh on the inside that rotates the paper and removes any small impurities that may have been caught up therein. From here it is compacted and baled, with the final bales weighing over 1 tonne each being stored and then loaded for transport back to the paper mills to be remade into new paper and cardboard products. At this stage, the steel, aluminium, glass and plastics are still all together, and again we can see some of our pink items travelling up the conveyor. This stream passes under an electromagnet that automatically removes steel cans and aerosols. These are then stored in a hopper ready for crushing and baling. The remaining items continue to the end of the conveyor, as represented by the yellow arrows. Here they fall off the end, and the blue arrows indicate a stream of air being blown up by an industrial strength fan. This air classifier, as it is known, blows the lighter aluminium and plastic containers over onto another conveyor, whilst the heavier glass items fall straight down onto the glass conveyor. This glass is manually sorted into brown, green and white and passes outside the shed through a rotating glass crusher and into a storage bay. As can be seen, our pink bottle has now been crushed and will ultimately end up being carted to Sydney to be made into new glass products. The plastics are all manually sorted and thrown into various hoppers, and when enough are gathered, they are also compacted and baled. Here you can see Symbol 2 HDPE milk bottles being let out of the storage hopper, run up the incline conveyor, compacted and the bale produced. In addition to the HDPE milk bottles, we also sort plastics into 2 other streams. Symbol 1 is PET, such as soft drink bottles, and symbols 3 to 7, like ice cream and yogurt containers, are stored together as mixed plastics. Aluminium cans, along with any other items remaining on the plastics line that may have been missed, then run to the end of the conveyor where an eddy current removes the aluminium. This device works the opposite to a magnet in that it repels the cans away. As they fall off the conveyor, you can see the aluminium being thrown forward, and they go over the white divider and into the aluminium storage hopper below. Again, when enough accumulate, these are also baled and stored ready for shipping to Sydney to be made back into aluminium products. With aluminium bales weighing around 300 kilograms each, it takes over 20,000 cans to make a single bale. All other items on the conveyor are returned to the floor of the materials recovery facility to be pushed up by the bobcat and sent around again. By working in this manner, no items that are recyclable go to waste, and we recover all the recycling items people put in their bins. In addition, residents can drop recycling at regional transfer stations, or bring items to the Bathurst Waste Management Centre for placement into specially provided bins. These are regularly emptied, with all items being reprocessed. It is also important to separate other items from your waste stream wherever possible. By bringing in your green waste sorted, it is processed locally, with the end result being a high-quality compost for reuse. Bathurst is also at the forefront of recycling electronic or e-waste, and again, this is separated and stored for reprocessing. Your efforts all help in maximising recycling, protecting our environment, and further reducing our dependence on landfills. Waste items wrongly put in recycling bins are sent to a waste compactor for landfilling. Certain materials should not be placed in your recycling bin, as they simply cannot be recycled. These include nappies, ceramics like broken plates and cups, and plastic bags. Many other items are also regularly being recycled nowadays, but remember, you need to dispose of these separately, as they cannot be put in your yellow lidded recycling bin. And for items such as steel and concrete, just bring them in sorted, so they too can avoid being landfilled. So let's all do our bit and recycle wherever possible. We can make a difference.